seen gun crime increase in the United States as well as here in Canada and in Toronto. Well, if you recall, just last week, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau put out his legislation for banning handguns, but he found an even ground in terms of everybody who already has a firearm, handguns, and they have their certification, they have the ability to keep it. It's just for people who want to get it in the future. Take a look at his announcement, and I'm going to share some interesting statistics with you since that announcement of Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister.
We're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. In other words, we're capping the market for handguns. As a further part of this new legislation, we're also fighting gun smuggling and trafficking by increasing maximum criminal penalties and providing more tools for law enforcement to investigate firearm crimes. And we'll require the permanent alteration of long gun magazines so they can never hold more than 5 rounds. These are actions that doctors, experts, and chiefs of police have been calling for years, and we're acting on their advice. I also want to thank the advocates, many of whom are here today, for your tireless efforts. I know that for too many of you, grief and loss are at the root of the work that you do. I want to recognize that, and on behalf of all Canadians.
That's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who tabled the bill C-21, which is a freeze on handguns. Essentially, since that announcement was made last week, if you can imagine, a few days later, well, BC Firearms retailer have reported a handgun spike, a sales spike, and in light of the new restrictions, essentially outselling their supply that they have in the retailers. And I mean, this was something that was predicted to be what people would do before the ban goes into place. Oh, well, it's not a ban, it's a freeze. And this is the reaction to what the announcement was. Essentially, the retailers are saying that they're way too busy to even talk. They said that according to their sales, that Thursday morning after that announcement was made, that they've been swamped and they've been absolutely sold out. And according to Statistics Canada, I just want to go over what they have here. This bill C-21 is what it will do is also remove firearm licenses from those involved in domestic violence or criminal harassment, increase criminal penalties for firearm smuggling, and these regulations are expected to come into place in the fall. So the fall, you know, whether that's September or October. So there's this leadway in the summertime to be able to purchase before the freeze goes into place. And this legislation is freezing buying, selling, importing, trading of handguns. And this is the reason the sales have spiked through the roof. According to Statistics Canada, the number of registered handguns in Canada increased by 71% between 2010 and 2020, reaching about 1.1 million people. Well, we'll see what that means after the record sales throughout the summer before Bill C-21 becomes law this fall. And according to the Stats Canada numbers, handguns were the most serious weapons presented in more than half of all firearm-related violent crimes between 2009 and 2020, including more than 600 incidents of intimate partner violence in 2018, and that's something that is part of Bill C-21 when it comes to domestic violence, which the numbers have increased during the pandemic months as police were called to a lot of residents for that time period. And I'm going to do a special YMedia exclusive report on those numbers, and stay tuned for that, because these numbers are quite alarming, and it's a trend that shows where things are at and when it comes to the well-being, mental well-being, and emotional well-being of people. But when it comes to, according to Stats Canada, when it comes to firearm-related crime, it only made up of 2% of violent crime in the Vancouver census metropolitan area for that when Stats Canada looked at those numbers. And according to Small Arms Survey, it's estimated that 34.7 guns per 100 people in Canada, according to their survey. So we'll see what that means, but essentially the retailers are saying they're absolutely swamped, and it's probably predicted to be the case throughout the summer months.